Media consumption is a common phenomenon that is evident from the current generation of people. With this concept in mind, it's no surprise that the media is being consumed by people from the different parts of the world. Since the current generation basically grew up with many forms of media around them, it can be implied that they spent most of their lives revolving around media. With the rise of media comes along the emergence of social media, which further allows people to communicate with one another and gather different information from each other. Globalization has become a key driver for why this is happening. Globalization is the main reason why people from around the world engage in conversations involving national events or issues. We use social media to fuel these conversations and know the different sides of an event or an issue. A timely example of a national event that we have seen is the 2024 United States presidential elections. We have seen candidates such as Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and other independent candidates vie for the presidential position and the administration. Ultimately, Trump emerged victorious against his opponents in the race. Filipinos aren't excluded from the idea that people around the world create discourse regarding a specific issue with the help of globalization. Among the registered Filipino voters in the United States, some are leaning towards the Republican Party, while others are leaning towards the Democratic Party, creating a division that showed that there are different opinions of Filipinos about the elections. The Filipino Republicans are happy with Trump's victory and even saying that his presidency will be advantageous for the country, while the Filipino Democrats say otherwise, stating that his plans and policies might negatively impact the Filipino community in the United States, and consequently the world. This shows that the election results are highly significant for Filipinos. But why? The first reason is the allyship of the Philippines and the United States when it comes to the issue of the West Philippine Sea. This is further heightened with the ongoing conflict between the United States and China, and it seems like the Philippines is stuck in between both countries, considering that our country has had relations with the two conflicting countries. Trump's win may introduce trade or country policies that tackle these issues, and people fear that these may be unfavorable for the Philippines and the Filipinos. The second reason is Trump's immigration policies that he planned out should he win the election. He insisted that when elected as president, he will impose stricter policies for undocumented immigrants or even those who are documented and may consequently affect the current and future immigrants of the United States. With Trump's victory, there's a chance that these policies will push through, and this may negatively affect the documented and undocumented Filipino immigrants of the United States, as well as those who have plans to immigrate in that country soon. The high significance of the election results is a main factor why Filipinos engage in discourse about the results of the election. Other than that, there are key reasons why Filipinos became aware of what's happening in the elections to begin with. First, major news platforms offered wide coverage of everything that's happening during the elections, from the moment the candidates filed or announced their candidacy until the election day itself. News sites such as Fox News, CNN, and the Washington Post are widely accessible by anyone in the world, thus indicating that Filipinos are more likely to gather information or create news reports about the elections from these sources. Second, Filipinos notice similarities between the 2024 United States presidential elections and the 2022 Philippine national elections. Both elections involved a man, Trump in the US, and Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in the Philippines, and a woman, Harris in the US, and Leni Robredo in the Philippines, leading their respective presidential races. As we all know, the men emerged victorious in their respective elections, and when that happened, Filipinos had mixed opinions about their wins and the losses of Harris and Robredo. This implied that media globalization permitted Filipinos to create their own opinions about the US elections and even apply their local context to their opinion about the foreign event. Last, the presidential elections helped reveal the political stances of different celebrities or personalities, thus showing their support for Harris or Trump. These celebrities have huge platforms that, when used in a political aspect, may bring high awareness of or support towards the politicians they campaign for. The celebrities who endorse Harris include Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, LeBron James, and Steph Curry, while the celebrities who endorse Trump are Elon Musk, Kanye West, Hulk Hogan, and Caitlyn Jenner. These celebrities are known and influential in the world, thus indicating that Filipinos may know them And their active campaigns in social media about the candidate they support is one reason why Filipinos knew how the US elections went through. With social media being a huge factor when it comes to the political campaigns of politicians, it won't be a surprise that social media platforms will be used wider and more often in the future election campaigns that we are about to see. In exchanging information among countries, it's important that we only exchange honest and truthful information with one another and not tolerate deceitful information that may affect the discourse of people who may see this information. Also, on the topic of stating our opinions in discourse, one must be mindful on how they use their freedom of expression by being careful with what they say in order to avoid conflicts or poorly made judgments. To conclude, media globalization has and will always fuel discussions among countries about specific issues, and this will continue in the future. When I first found out that we were going to have a subject titled Contemporary World, I will admit that I have zero clue about what the subject would entail. Before our first class started, I began skimming through the modules and found out that globalization was our focus for the entire semester. At that time, I considered globalization to be this really huge concept, and I was hesitant and scared that I might not pick up anything by the time the subject ends. But Sir Jumel made sure that all of us would thoroughly understand the lessons and concepts by simplifying his explanation or lectures. Sir Jumel, thank you for making the subject easier to learn and understand. Globalization is a serious topic that one must thoroughly understand, and yet you made it fun and memorable for us. From the different discussion groups up to our respective presentations, we learned a lot from you and from Discourse. I will always feel lucky that for a semester, I got to be part of your class. Thank you for everything, sir.